Hi, my name's Mark Knoller with PCS Director, and I'm going to be giving you a tool that'll make your customer's decision to buy print management software an easy one. This will not only increase your monthly revenue, but it's also going to put you in position number one when it comes to your customer's inevitable need for more or better hardware. If we can start moving volumes to your devices, the more we will be stressing your devices in there, and the more we can stress those devices, the more and better hardware they will need. The real beauty of this is every time your customer makes the decision to print, their decision is affecting your bottom line. That's not the way they think of it. They're likely just hitting the little print button that we see in every Windows application, but we want to get them printing to your devices and see your volumes going up. So this strategy also provides a huge amount of value to your customer and an opportunity for them to save a lot of money, because if they're printing to a device that costs them 8 cents a page and we can get them printing to your device that's 1 cent a page, for example, that's 7 cents they're saving on every page in this case. Now there's literally millions of different rule combinations or conditions that you can put in place to educate or manage what the users are doing from a print perspective. For example, you can make a rule that says everybody has to print on both sides of the page. So not only is your customer saving money in that case because they're using less paper, but there's an environmental aspect to it as well. So I'm going to show you this spreadsheet, which is our Machines in Field ROI calculator, that details the value that you'll be getting by redirecting volumes. So we'll look at it from your perspective first, and then we'll look at it from the customer perspective as well. So keep two things in mind while we're going through some of these details. The first being, this will differentiate you from the competition, and the second being from the customer's perspective. If you aren't bringing a strategy like this to your customer, they might say something like, hey, your competition was in here last week and told me about something called rules-based printing. How come you've never told me about this before? Remember, you can bet that your best customers are on somebody else's prospect list, so there's definitely a good reason to be the first one to show this to your customer. If you can bring this strategy to them first, you're already in the door when it comes to hardware and their print strategy. The process of completing the ROI calculator begins with filling in the total volume of sheets printed by all devices in the environment. That includes locally connected devices, network devices, laser jets, inkjets, and multifunctional devices. The second metric is to enter the unmanaged pages, or the pages that are not going to the high efficiency multifunctional devices or to your devices. It's these volumes that we intend to impact by implementing some simple rules or conditions. Include the percentage of printing that includes color, and establish the cost per page for black and white on the low-cost devices, color on your low-cost devices, and the low cost for black and white on the unmanaged devices like laser jets, desk jets, and so on, and the average cost for color on laser jets, desk jets, and unmanaged devices. Now, having established a blended rate for the different classes of devices, this being for the low-cost devices and this number being for the high-cost devices, you can enter the cost reduction impacts for implementing, for example, a job size rule, migrating print jobs with color. You can see what this starts to look like in terms of increased revenue for you, the dealer. Now, we're looking at the dealer results page. If we flip over to the customer results page, you can see what this starts to look like for the customer. So they're also saving money based on job size rules and migrating color volumes. But there's additional opportunity for the customer when they start to implement duplex rules, for example. Even if we could impact 20% of those volumes, they're going to see an added savings as well. And attrition is the natural result of the users and the environment knowing that their printing is being tracked. So those full color church bake sale brochures that employees may sometimes tend to use on company printers tend to disappear overnight. We typically see about a 10% reduction in overall printing based on attrition. Now, it's important to remember that this reduction in printing affects your competition, the competitive devices in the environment, or those higher cost devices, because remember, we've driven up the volumes on your devices as you saw on the previous spreadsheet. 30% impact on the unmanaged volumes is typically a very conservative number based on what we see. We would generally see an impact much greater, more like 40 or 50 or even 60%. But you can see in any different scenario, we've increased your revenue and effectively taken money out of your competitor's piggy bank and put it into yours. So flipping back to the customer results page, we mentioned before there's a nice little side benefit, which is the environmental benefit of the customer using less paper. So they can now proudly report that they're saving 12 trees a year, or 12 trees a month rather, or about 144 trees a year, based on the statistic from the Environmental Protection Agency's website that an average pulp tree yields about 8,300 sheets of paper. There's a CO2 offset benefit to this as well, because an average tree consumes about 45 pounds of CO2 and creates CO2 when paper is created. So these are all very quantifiable results that your customer can now proudly report to their community or to shareholders, for example. Another metric we can look at is how much this looks like in terms of miles driven in a car, or the CO2 produced from burning 539 tanks of propane is the equivalent of what this customer is now saving every year. So by completing the information, this formula will generate the monthly and annual savings that the customer could expect from implementing rules-based printing. This number here will allow us to calculate the customer's return on investment by simply plugging in the total cost of the software. In this case, we estimated these numbers based on about a 500 user environment. So for 500 licenses of rules with PCS Director, that comes to $14,250. So you can see in under 3 months, the customer has effectively paid for the software. And this isn't just speculation. Print Audit, the manufacturer of the software, provides a 100% money-back guarantee, where if the customer has not received a full return on investment within 1 year, or if they're not completely satisfied with the software after 1 year, we will refund their money. And that's a manufacturer's guarantee, not something that would affect you, the dealer. In fact, you would keep your commission on the deal. So ask your customer, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Would you like to move forward? If you'd like any additional information on the ROI calculator spreadsheet, Print Audit software, or would like to have a presentation given to one of your clients, please feel free to contact me at the following information. Thank you very much, and I hope this has been a helpful tool.